I, 32 am standing in a suit that suddenly feels 2 sizes too big. It's supposed to be my wedding day. Up until about 10 minutes ago, I thought it was. My fiancé, Leo, 30 just made an announcement. Not that I was expecting. Instead, in front of 150 of our closest friends and family, he grabbed the officiant's microphone and, with tears in his eyes, declared he couldn't marry me because he was in love with someone else. Not someone else. Our mutual best friend, Dylan, 29 who is also my best man. The collective gasp was cinematic. Things felt a little off for the last month, a bit distant, but I chalked it up to wedding jitters. Apparently, the jitters had a name. My heart imploded. But on the surface, I was eerily calm. Maybe it was the shock or the cold, hard clarity that slammed into me. Leo stood there, sobbing, a portrait of tragic love. Dylan was by his side, looking both guilty and defiant. I walked over, took the microphone, and looked out at the sea of stunned faces. Me, wow. Okay. Well, this is unexpected. I turned to Leo. I want you to be happy, Leo. Truly. If that happiness is with Dylan, then I won't stand in your way. He looked at me with a flicker of relief, probably expecting a scene. He didn't get one. Me. However, since we're being honest, I have a confession of my own. I've known about this for 3 weeks. The silence in the room was absolute. Dylan went pale. Me. When you started leaving your laptop open, Leo, it wasn't hard to connect the dots. So I took some precautions. I turned to my lawyer, who was a guest and had been prepped. As of this morning, all funds from our joint accounts were transferred to a new account solely in my name. The apartment we shared, which is legally mine, has had the locks changed. Your belongings are in storage. The first month is paid for. The room erupted in murmurs. Leo stared at me, his mouth hanging open. You what? Me. You said you were in love with someone else. I believe in consequences. I pulled a folder from my lawyer's briefcase. And these are divorce papers. Since we were legally married in a common law state, this makes it official. I've already signed. I handed the folder to him. Leo, you can't do this. That was our money. Me. The bulk of it was my inheritance. You wanted a new life. Now you can start one. From scratch. I looked at Dylan. Good luck to you both. I walked out. My old life was over. But as I got into the waiting car, I didn't feel devastation. I felt free. Update 1 week later. It's been a weird week. The fallout from the wedding that wasn't has been intense. My phone blew up for 48 hours straight with calls from my supportive family and friends, and from Leo's camp, whose tone was decidedly different. Leo's sister, Qley, 28F, left a series of hysterical voicemails escalating from, "How could you humiliate him like that?" to, "You're a monster. You were supposed to love him unconditionally." Apparently, unconditional love now includes funding your partner's new life with his lover. Leo and Dylan are staying with Qley, and the entitlement is breathtaking. Leo's text, "I need my stuff and my half of the money. You had no right. We built a life together." My reply, "The life we built ended when you chose Dylan. You can arrange to pick up your things from storage. As for the money, my lawyer can speak to yours." Then came the social media campaign. Qley posted a rant about her broken-hearted brother, painting me as a cold villain. She conveniently left out the part where Leo publicly blew up our life. A few mutual friends bought into it, sending me sanctimonious messages. I blocked Qley and Leo. All communication now goes through my lawyer. It's cleaner that way. I'm methodically dismantling the life we built. With every step, I feel a little lighter. It's a clean hurt, a surgical pain, better than the slow poison of betrayal. Update 2, 3 weeks later. The entitlement has gone nuclear. First came the false accusation. 2 weeks ago, I was called into HR. An anonymous complaint had been filed against me for workplace harassment, claiming I was unstable. Thankfully, my boss is reasonable. I explained I was going through a difficult public breakup and suspected it was a malicious attempt to destabilize my career. The complaint was dismissed. It was a low blow, and I have no doubt it was Qley's handiwork. Then came the sentimental blackmail from Leo's mom, Karen, who called crying about how I was destroying her son and asked if I'd throw away all those beautiful memories over one mistake. This is where things get interesting. Leo, through his lawyer, formally demanded 50% of all assets, including my inheritance, citing emotional distress. My lawyer and I were prepared, but I wanted to send a message. I remembered Leo's passion project from 6 months ago, a bespoke furniture business. He drew up a plan, registered a company, and opened a business account. The supportive fiancé transferred $20,000 of my money into it as seed funding. The business went nowhere, but the company and the bank account still existed. I was a co-signer. I went to the bank, legally dissolved the company as a co-signer with full authority, and withdrew the remaining funds, about $19,500. The next day, Leo's lawyer was screaming about theft. My lawyer calmly explained that since the joint venture was defunct, the initial investment capital had been returned to the investor. Me, perfectly legal. They tried to play dirty, so I played by the rules they had set up themselves. Leo wanted to be a businessman. He just got his first lesson in venture capitalism. Final update, 3 months later. It's over. The war is won, not with a bang, but with the quiet hum of a new life starting. The legal battle fizzled out after the business account incident. The mediator laughed Leo's demand for half my assets out of the room. He ended up with his personal belongings and a small settlement for his documented financial contributions, which amounted to less than a month's rent. The divorce was finalized last month. The fallout on their end has been significant. Qley's smear campaign backfired when the full story came out. Leo and Dylan didn't last. Once the drama faded and they were faced with the mundane reality of paying bills without my safety net, the cracks showed. Dylan, it turns out, wasn't keen on the struggling artist lifestyle. Leo is back living with his parents, working a retail job. From what I hear, he's not handling it with grace. There's no remorse, just a bitter resentment that his comfortable life was taken away. As for me, the first month was numb. The second was angry. But this third month has been about peace. I repainted the apartment and reconnected with friends. The quiet in my home is a comfort, not a void. I didn't set out for revenge. I just protected myself. He wanted a different life, and I gave him one. He just didn't realize that new life wouldn't be funded by me. The most satisfying part isn't his downfall, but my own resilience. I stood my ground, and I came out the other side stronger. The future is still a blank page, but for the first time in a long time, I'm the one holding the pen.